Is it true that you had the Michael J. Fox role in Back to the Future?
Yes, it is.
Back to the Future began production under strict studio deadlines from Universal Pictures. The film's creators, writer-producer Bob Gale and director Robert Zemeckis, originally wanted Michael J. Fox for the role of Marty McFly. However, Fox was the lead actor in the hit NBC sitcom Family Ties, and the show's producer, Gary David Goldberg, refused to release him from his contract or even allow him to read the script. Because the film's production could not be delayed, the studio required the filmmakers to move forward with another actor. Dozens of young male actors were tested for the part, including Johnny Depp, Ben Stiller, and C. Thomas Howell. The final choice came down to Howell and Eric Stoltz. Universal Studios president Sid Sheinberg strongly supported Stoltz, pressuring the filmmakers to select him. Although Zemeckis and Gale preferred Howell, they had little time to argue, and production had to begin immediately to meet Universal's schedule. At the time, Stoltz was known for playing sensitive, introspective young men in smaller, dramatic films, which seemed to align with Marty McFly's traits on paper: a polite, slightly awkward teenager facing an overbearing bully. Given his resume and the need for quick casting, Stoltz was hired as the lead, and principal photography began with him in the role. From the start of production, Eric Stoltz's interpretation of Marty McFly differed sharply from what the filmmakers intended. During the first table read, the rest of the cast laughed at the script's humor, while Stoltz sat silent and reflective. When asked for his opinion, he described the story as a tragedy, a character condemned to remember a past that no one else shares. While intellectually consistent, this approach was fundamentally misaligned with Back to the Future's design as a lighthearted adventure comedy. Director Robert Zemeckis attempted to explain that the movie was a comedy blockbuster, but Stoltz viewed the material through a dramatic lens. As a method actor, he immersed himself fully in the role, insisting on being addressed only as Marty and staying in character off camera. He grew his fingernails long to appear like a guitar player and objected to cosmetic adjustments such as dyeing his hair black and covering his freckles to match the McFly family's appearance. His tone and performance were consistently serious and intense. In scenes meant to highlight confusion or slapstick surprise, Stoltz played the moments as grounded realism, stripping away the comedic energy that the script required. For example, when Marty first explores Hill Valley in 1955, the director asked him to stumble slightly in disbelief. Stoltz refused, arguing that his character was not clumsy. His Marty faced situations directly, reacting with stoic determination instead of comedic astonishment. This dramatic reading created an emotional disconnect between Stoltz's character and the tone of the film. While Michael J. Fox's later portrayal emphasized wide-eyed reactions and comic rhythm, Stoltz's version felt restrained and somber. His commitment to realism made the character believable, but not fun, and not in harmony with the rest of the cast or the director's vision. As filming continued, tension grew between Eric Stoltz, the director, and other cast members. His strict adherence to method acting began to interfere with the collaborative flow of production. Stoltz insisted that fellow actors address him only as Marty, maintaining character even during breaks. Christopher Lloyd, who played Doc Brown, later admitted that for weeks he genuinely thought Stoltz's name was Marty. Stoltz's intensity extended into physical scenes. During the cafeteria confrontation between Marty and Biff, actor Tom Wilson recalled that Stoltz struck him repeatedly in the collarbone with unnecessary force. Wilson asked him to ease up, but Stoltz ignored him, remaining in character. Wilson eventually warned that he would retaliate during the dance sequence, but that day never came. Zemeckis grew increasingly concerned that the film was veering off course. 5 weeks into shooting, he reviewed the footage and saw that Stoltz's performance lacked humor and rhythm. The film, intended as a fast-paced comedic adventure, was becoming a somber drama. Zemeckis and producer Bob Gale realized that despite Stoltz's talent, He simply was not right for the part. After exhausting attempts to redirect him, Zemeckis made the difficult decision to replace his lead actor. Stoltz was officially fired from Back to the Future around the 5th week of production. However, filming did not stop immediately. For another week, the crew continued shooting close-ups and minor scenes that didn't reveal the lead actor's face. This allowed the director time to negotiate with Family Ties producer Gary David Goldberg to bring in Michael J. Fox without alarming the rest of the cast or crew. During that interim period, only Zemeckis, Gale, and a few executives knew of Stoltz's dismissal. The decision was kept secret to maintain morale and prevent chaos on set. Securing Michael J. Fox for the role required extensive negotiation. Robert Zemeckis and producer Bob Gale personally appealed to Family Ties producer Gary David Goldberg, who was initially unwilling to risk disrupting his show's production schedule. Only after repeated requests did Goldberg agree, on one strict condition: Family Ties would always come first. If the filmmakers wanted Fox, they would need to shoot entirely around his television commitments. An agreement was finalized within days of Stoltz's departure. Fox was officially cast as Marty McFly, and production reorganized its schedule around his availability. On weekdays, he filmed Family Ties from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., then traveled immediately to the Back to the Future set, where he worked from 6 p.m. until 4 or 5 in the morning. To allow him brief rest, the studio arranged for a station wagon with a mattress in the back so he could sleep during the commute between sets. Night scenes for Back to the Future were filmed during the week, while daytime scenes were shot on weekends when Family Ties was on break. For 3 months, Fox maintained this grueling schedule with only a few hours of sleep per night. He often learned his lines en route to the set and relied on improvisation when he forgot them during filming. Despite the exhaustion, his natural comedic rhythm and high energy revitalized the production. Unlike Stoltz's restrained performance, Fox brought the wide-eyed wonder, physical comedy, and quick timing that perfectly balanced the film's mix of humor and adventure. His style aligned precisely with Zemeckis' original vision. Within days, the crew and cast sensed that the movie had found its true tone. Once Michael J. Fox joined the cast, the production faced the massive task of reshooting nearly every scene that had already been filmed with Eric Stoltz. By that point, more than a third of the movie was already complete, including major sequences such as the 1950s diner confrontation and several time travel set pieces. Because these scenes were central to the story, they could not be salvaged with editing alone, so Zemeckis decided to start over. The new filming schedule was aggressive. Sets had to remain standing for weeks beyond their intended wrap dates, and the crew worked consecutive overnight shoots to accommodate Fox's limited daytime availability. Cinematographer Dean Cundy relit many of the same environments from scratch, ensuring continuity between the old and new footage. In some cases, Fox's takes were spliced into shots that had been originally framed for Stoltz. Close-ups that didn't show the actor's face were reused to save time and money. Production costs rose sharply as a result. Universal Studios approved the additional expense, but made clear that the movie still had to meet its release deadline. The team worked under constant pressure to recover lost weeks of filming without sacrificing quality. Despite the pace, the energy on set improved dramatically. Fox's enthusiasm and natural comedic instinct re-energized both cast and crew, who now fully understood the film's intended tone. Zemeckis and Gale managed to complete the reshoots on time with only minimal delays. Some shots of Stoltz reportedly remain in the final cut, such as a brief insert of Marty punching Biff in the 1950s cafe, but nearly all of his visible performance was replaced. The risk of refilming an entire lead role midway through production paid off. The footage now matched the story's humor, rhythm, and emotional warmth. After filming resumed with Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future quickly found its rhythm and tone. Fox's portrayal of Marty McFly captured the blend of wonder, humor, and relatable teenage awkwardness that the script demanded. His quick reactions and comic timing transformed the movie into the vibrant, accessible adventure it was meant to be. The chemistry between Fox and Christopher Lloyd became one of the defining elements of the film, giving audiences the energy and warmth that had been missing before. When the movie was released in 1985, it became a massive success, both critically and commercially. It topped the box office for weeks, earned multiple award nominations, and turned Fox into one of the most recognizable faces of the decade. He continued the role in 2 sequels, solidifying Back to the Future as a cornerstone of 1980s pop culture. For Eric Stoltz, the recasting was a major setback, but not a personal scandal. By all accounts, he accepted the director's decision professionally. He acknowledged that Zemeckis simply didn't like his interpretation of the material, and stated that it was a creative mismatch rather than a conflict. Cast and crew members, including Fox himself, spoke highly of Stoltz's talent and composure during the transition. Stoltz went on to establish a solid career in dramatic and independent films, with roles in Mask and Pulp Fiction. While he never became a mainstream teen idol like Fox, he remained respected as a serious actor known for his intensity and depth. The incident ultimately became one of Hollywood's most famous examples of a mid-production recasting, proof that a single change in performance can alter the entire tone of a film. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel to show your support. And if you'd like to keep going, here's another video from our channel that you might enjoy.